Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you.
I have the man, the myth, the legend, ST. Please tell the D-Live Nation about you and what's going on in the world with you right now.
Hi everyone, I'm Siang Tiong. I'm the General Manager for Kaspersky in Southeast Asia, and I take care of the business across Southeast Asia. Thank you.
All right. So, guys, we've got your questions. It's pretty simple. What first got you interested in the space? What really, that moment when you said, wait a second, hold on. There's something over here. I'll talk to you later. I'm over here. What was that moment like? What was that moment?
Actually, it was more a personal interest in crypto.
It was more?
It was a personal interest in crypto.
It was the personal, yeah, that's how we all got
Yeah.
We all got
and then I started reading more into it, and of course, I know one of the sources of information I go to is actually Cointelegraph. So, yeah.
Oh, thank you. So, what convinced you to dive deep into it?
Well, the more I look into it, the technology and all that, I think it's kind of cool.
Okay.
The fact that it is a distributed ledger, the fact that you can potentially automate certain things and take away the middleman, that means things can be transacted faster and reliably, and on something that you can still fall back on and be trusted.
And that means tons of money.
Money aside, efficiency. That also means that a lot of new application, a new way of doing business can now be enabled.
Absolutely.
That's what I think.
What are some of those misses in the market that you see, that you're excited to see, finally that hole is filled by blockchain technology? What are some of those holes you see?
So like, for example, today we see that a lot of information we need to go to a central registry. A lot of information you need a regulator. It bodes well in a country like Singapore, right? Everything is well organized. But we cannot say so for many other countries.
Okay.
And therefore, this protection of the data and the integrity of the data is actually very important.
Okay.
We also see that in some applications when it's cross-boundary, like trade finance, logistics and all that,
right,
or tracing of pharmaceuticals, origin, supply chain, all this needs multiple parties to collaborate.
Right.
And if you have a solution like blockchain, then it's just very elegant.
What would you suggest to the businesses out there? I'm giving you guys a little bit of free information. This is valuable information I'm getting from it right now. What would you suggest the companies out there thinking about blockchain, what would you suggest they do before the competition get on it? Should they hire a person internally just for blockchain? Should they hire consultants? Should they go out there themselves? What kind of advice would you give companies that could be possibly missing the boat on all of these fantastic opportunities?
Okay, so first of all, it's not blockchain for the sake of blockchain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of people jump on the bandwagon of blockchain thinking that it is the solve it all. I would say first take a critical look. If the problem can be solved by blockchain, then yes, go for it. And then when you decide to go for it, then think in a more organized approach. Do not get a bunch of coders to just hammer things together.
Right.
And the problem that we see in a lot of customers is they rush into it, and they leave a lot of loopholes, they leave a lot of things unchecked,
right.
and that gives a lot of holes and vulnerabilities. And it becomes a problem when they start to scale.
Yeah, it's just costly,
Yes,
extremely
and then it can be
costly.
And of course, hacks can happen, and when that happens, it's too costly for anyone to stomach.
Okay. So, what are some of the things that developers, entrepreneurs, innovators out there should look to try and mitigate as a major risk getting involved with blockchain, besides what you just said? What's another reoccurring problem you hear almost monthly or weekly with organizations that they continuously engage in, that you could drop a little bit of knowledge to our audience?
I will say, the technology aside, when we look at a typical environment, we tend to jump straight into it and say, these are the technology to solve your problem, these are the kind of services to solve your problem. But actually, technology aside, the people is actually an important aspect.
Right.
And many times we see that a company fumble in cybersecurity practices because the people fumble. Very simple mistakes they make, phishing emails, they click on things, kaboom, you know? And these are avoidable, actually.
Right.
With some awareness and with some training. And actually these are easily achievable.
Okay. Now, if you could give advice to the folks looking into this space, wanting to know something a little bit more about it, specifically outside of the fintech sector, we talked supply chain, logistics. What other maybe low-lying fruit, right, that an amateur can engage in? What sector do you think really needs it at a very low level? And how could they engage in it? How can we participate more in this industry?
If you're talking about individuals who want to get into blockchain,
Yes.
basic retail.
I know I'm speaking in a more individual level, but it's more personal. Now I want to know your personal feeling. If you had to tell your family members of 12 years old to 17 years old, we're at family dinner, and they're saying, how do I want to become like you and become everything? How can I? What kind of advice would you give them with this new industry?
I think start by reading up.
Just research.
Just start by reading up.
Would you ask them to tell them the code? Do you think coding is important right now for the future?
Coding is of course important, but it is not. In a typical environment, a typical setup, coding is one piece of the jigsaw puzzle.
Okay.
Right? There's also the overall design, there's also the operation part of the things. It's a full gamut of things coming together. And so having that broad picture first is actually very more important than anything. And therefore, that's why I advocate that we start by reading.
Okay.
What is in the technology, how people use it, what are the pitfalls, what are the different things around it.
Right.
Then
So
when you form a better picture, then you can dive into it.
So I think that the theme right now is history, guys. Go in there, learn your history, do your research, and if you are a true entrepreneur, innovator, you're going to come out with something absolutely fantastic. I cannot thank you enough so much for joining us.
Thanks a lot.
Enjoy the show, and thanks for the little
Yes,
bits
I
of
enjoyed.
wisdom.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
All right.